it again. We're going back to Omaha. And it's on to the College World Series Final. The 2015 National Champions.
Welcome into another edition of 1186, the podcast, the official podcast of the University of Virginia baseball program. 6 games remain on the regular season schedule, all here at the Dish. NC State will be here this weekend for Heroes Appreciation Weekend, starting on Friday evening. And then next weekend, the Hokies come to town. Virginia Tech to wrap up the regular season Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. I am Damon Dillman, joined as we are all the time by Scott Fitzgerald and Andrew Ramspacker. Third-year hitters from the Hoos joining us this week on the podcast. The first 2 current players to join us on the podcast, Griff O'Ferrall, Anthony Stephan. Guys, my first question for you, how'd that exam go today?
I guess we'll find out. I don't really know. It was like 3 hours of just straight handwritten responses. So I have no feeling in my right arm, which is that should be good for practice today.
What
all you can ask for is we did our best. So whatever happens, happens. We studied hard the night before. So
same mentality as you take out here, right? What class is it?
Intro to Asian America.
Okay. So
any other guys in the team in the class, or just you two?
Yeah, Ethan, Blake Barker, Chase, Hungate, and Jay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it should be a fun practice today. Everybody will be locked in.
Yeah.
With NC State coming to town.
For sure.
So the cliche we always hear from you guys this time of year is, now we get to be baseball players. What is that like now that you're done with exams? The regular season is winding down, but the games are getting bigger, and then everything that's on the horizon. What is it like now that you guys, quote, get to be baseball players?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot more fun. You know, you only worry about coming to the yard with the guys and getting ready and stuff like that. And I mean, the weather's a lot nicer this time of year too. So, I mean, when you just focus on baseball, we find it that, you know, we can get to the field whenever. We get a good amount of sleep too now that we practice usually is around midday and games aren't that early. But yeah, overall, just like a lot more fun. I mean, school's great and the University of Virginia is great and we love it here. But yeah, this is the time of year where, baseball is our top priority. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the best part is having more time to hang out with each other. Now that there's no school, instead of going home and doing a couple hours of homework and then just going to bed, we can, once we get out of practice, we can go do stuff with each other, go, watch a movie or play putt-putt or just play cards or whatever it is. But just getting some more free time to hang out with each other, I think, is my favorite part.
When you're coming off a run to Omaha, like you guys did last year, I know coming into the season, the talk is we want to get back. We know what it's like. We want to get back. But as you're going through this grind, February, March, April, May, how does the grind change when that's kind of looming on the horizon and in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's always in the back of our mind, but I feel like once you get to this part of the year, it's kind of on the front of your mind that like it's getting to that point. I wouldn't say it really changes anything from a preparation aspect for us, just because this program treats the first practice August 17th as the week before Omaha. So it doesn't really change anything for us because we are always treating practice as if playoffs are the next day. But yeah, I mean, I think there's just a level of excitement kind of around the team that, all right, we're getting to the part where like we have the opportunity to do some really special things, going into these last couple of weeks. We have everything in front of us, and that's definitely there's a little buzz amongst the team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost smell it once it gets warm out. I mean, I kind of looking at the field outside, like when the trees start, coming green, everything starts growing again, flowers, like it just kind of reminds me of this time last year. And so like Griff said, like we just get really excited, but it's important to not put any added pressure on ourselves this time of year and just do what we've been doing the whole year.
You guys have, I guess, gone through this now at least a couple times, but Wednesday you play a game for the first time since that finals break. And, in the past, that's always been a game that, like, I don't know if the coaches kind of know what to expect because it's the longest extended break you've had all year. How do you kind of approach it, stuff like that? What is that game like? And Obviously, it didn't impact you guys too much coming out and hitting a bunch of home runs and scoring 18 runs. But is that tough to get back in the grind of things? I mean, your coach likes to say all the time that baseball is meant to be played, every day. When you have that extended break, there's not a lot of sports where that happens, right? Where you're always kind of in that rhythm no matter what. But baseball, because of the final situation, you do have an extended break. So what is that like to get back into the rhythm of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of coming into that game, there was a level of just like excitement to be back competing again. Going last weekend without playing was, a kind of a weird feeling. We played some inter squads, and that we definitely got some benefits out of that. But I think coming into the game yesterday, everyone was just really pumped to just play against someone again. Not that it had been that long, but it was still just like, once you're in the heat of the season, it feels weird to take 5 days off from playing someone. So I think, there's definitely there's a trap of coming in a little sluggish, but we made it kind of a key point for us to come in rested and ready to go rather than sluggish.
Yeah, our preparation remains the same throughout that week. I think the coaches do a really good job of, keeping us ready, keeping us locked in. And, a lot of that, it's on the responsibility of the players too. Due to final exams and studying and stuff like that, it's kind of more of our responsibility to make sure that we're getting the work in. And so, we just hold each other accountable to our standard. And I mean, you guys saw it yesterday. I think we did a great job as a team overall, just coming out strong like we never left. So
were you guys, was it the team aware of how close you were to the single season home run record entering yesterday?
I remember because I remember kind of thinking about it in my head recently, but then I was like, Jake had 23, Kyle had 15, Ethan had 15. So I just feel like there were a lot more guys that just had a lot more home runs, or there was a fewer guys with more home runs. But I guess this year everybody's just got their fair share. So I actually had no idea that we were even close. I mean, you'd think Jake was a third of our whole home run total last year. But yeah, it was pretty cool to do that, to be honest. We didn't really hear about it till after the game. But
what do you guys – oh, go ahead, Griff.
Well, I was just going to say I knew we were close because someone had brought it up a couple weeks ago. And then, like Anthony said, we were kind of doing the math. But, yeah, it didn't really make sense to me because, it is kind of I feel like it's more of 1 through 9 guys have some homers as opposed to last year. It was, in bulk for Jake or whatever. So, but I thought it's pretty cool. I feel like it's pretty rewarding to break the record in a manner where obviously Diddy has, 18 or whatever he has, but to break the record in a full team manner, where everyone's contributing to home runs, I think is pretty cool.
Does the, so I think the tradition might've started before you guys got here, but I could be wrong on that. Fitz, you might know, but the whole, throw the helmet off, the gigantic dramatic chest bump after every home run. What is that just something, is that ever, might be a dumb question, is that ever talked about before this? Hey guys, this is what we do. When the new guys come in, it's become such a staple now. And you guys have hit so many home runs in the last couple of years. People are so accustomed to seeing it. Yeah.
I don't think did we do that freshman year, Anthony?
I don't remember doing what it's always been everybody comes out and it's between whoever hit the home run and a certain guy's out there greeting him. But what we do has always changed.
Mm-hmm. I think some handshakes last night, right? Didn't Teal and Bobby switch it up?
That was a score thing. We didn't want to keep doing it at that part of the game. I don't really remember if we did it freshman year, but I know last year and this year, we were thinking about changing it up this year, but it kind of incorporates everything that we wanted out of a home run celebration where it's something that brings a lot of energy and you can scream and bring energy, but also it is a team thing. So we ended up just sticking with it because, we think it kind of covers what we want to do.
It's evolved in some ways because I feel like even in the weight room, there's the picture of Logan Michaels kind of coming down doing, and that's the best part about that celebration from a communication standpoint and the pictures and all that stuff is seeing everybody in the shot and everybody kind of giving that reaction. But I feel like in some way since the 21 College World Series, there's been some version of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think this year we did with our new strength coach, Coach AB, we do like vertical jumps. So like it's kind of like a fun thing. Like we all just try to like get in the air. And I know there's been a couple cool pictures where we're like all like floating in the air, and like that's pretty cool. So I mean, at least when I'm back there, I'm trying to jump as high as I can. So
whose idea was the big hat?
So that was part of so we have like a leadership group committee, and like kind of what we do every year is get together and come up with a few things that like the team wants to do, whether that's like the hat, like something that you get when you make a big play or you hit a homer, or like after the game, like getting the game ball, or like, you know, like the jacket last year. So the hat was one of our additions this year as like a celebration type of thing.
Last year, between the title belt and the jacket last year was pretty tough to top.
Yeah.
The jacket was like the most sought after thing.
Bryce found it on eBay, right?
Right. I think it was something that was found on eBay. Every comment we get, where do I get that jacket? Like, was that part of the vintage collection? But I was literally an eBay purchase, and you know, just one of these vintage UVA things. And the cool thing, and Griff, you said something about the team, about the jacket, was with the number that went on the jacket each time. I don't know if, you know, fans saw that from afar, but on the back of the jacket, if you were awarded it, your number would go on the jacket. So that was a cool tradition too.
Yeah.
Where is the jacket now?
Ooh, good question.
Kyle Teal might have taken it with him. We don't know where it went. I think he might wear that every day.
We have no idea what it is. Yeah.
So what was it like for you guys walking in here as first-year guys with the history of this program? Griff, obviously you're an in-state guy, but for both of you, walking in here with the history of this program and coming off the College World Series appearance the previous summer, what was it like just walking in here and getting your opportunity to add to sort of the legacy that's been built here?
Yeah, I mean, at least like you said, like coming off the Omaha run they had in 21, like, I mean, I remember like watching that on my couch in like late June, and then not even 2 months later, I'm like here on campus, a part of the team. So that was a little bit of like a culture shock for me, like going from like high school ball, travel ball to like a like top national college program, and like having the opportunities to compete for Omaha every year was something that, you know, I'm sure me and Griff both wanted, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's about like winning with your team and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an adjustment period for sure, and I'm sure the freshmen now this year feel that way. You know, with our run to Omaha last year. So I just think it's important, and I think the guys, the veterans, when we were first years, did a really good job of like acclimating us and, you know, like kind of taking us under our wing. So I mean, that's something me and Griff, you know, tried to do this year for them too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, like growing up, I was always a UVA fan, so I watched like their 2014, 2015 runs, which that kind of like sparked my interest to play college baseball, honestly. And then, you know, I was actually at summer ball when they were in Omaha in 2021. So I was playing and, you know, watching the games at my host family's house up in upstate New York. So like kind of watching that and just like thinking about how I was going to be there in, you know, 2 months was kind of a driving force to just help, you know, just keep my head down and keep working hard. But for me, like, you know, obviously for Anthony, I guess it's a little different because he went through like a whole recruiting process and everything. But like I always wanted to go here. And so like getting the chance, once I got that offer, it was like a no brainer. I probably committed on the same phone call that I got the offer on.
How old were you?
I was, it was like 2 weeks before junior year started. So I was probably like 16, maybe 17.
Yeah, that adds up.
Somewhere in there. So for me, like getting to this program was like pretty surreal. So yeah, I mean, I think it was something that I always wanted to do, but then getting in here and actually like meeting some of the guys and, you know, getting some information from the vets, and then just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, Kyle Teal, I've known him since, I mean, I was in middle school, and like he's from my area in Jersey. So like also that year watching him like be a freshman and having the impact he had on that team and going to Omaha, I was just like, this stuff is, it's just it was all insane and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, like Griff, he's an in-state kid. Like, I mean, I'm from Jersey. Coach Mack is from our area, so he pulls a lot of our guys down here. But I mean, Virginia was kind of like that school for me as well, due to Kyle. Like, he was committed here in like 8th grade, so that was always like a milestone. I mean, I always like worked with him growing up, and like Aiden too now. So I mean, it's been like Virginia's still like the staple like in New Jersey for like the program that everybody wants to go to.
Yeah. So what is like Mac's reputation in New Jersey? Like when Mac comes around, what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, he's an intimidating guy just to begin with, just off of physical appearance. But I mean, honestly, I think he's more recognized for his football career up there. Like a lot. I mean, like he's talked about throughout. I'm pretty sure my uncle and my dad played against him in college, or not college, in high school. And I mean, like they all knew him. And I mean, Jersey's a pretty close knit together town, like state. So, I mean, everybody knows everyone. So yeah, but I mean, he was definitely known as like the tough football guy, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you knew who he was when he started showing up at your games?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he ever made the trek up to Jersey, but he definitely saw me like down in Georgia and stuff. But yeah, like I knew, like that was the first connection we made, was like, hey, I'm from Dumont. And I was like, oh, that's like 10 minutes away from me. And my dad was like, oh, I definitely played you in football. And they would tell stories and be like, yeah. And he was like, I think I sacked you. And I was like, I don't know. But I mean, so, yeah, that was it.
He was a wrestler too, right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's a wall. So.
Yeah. So you were talking about walking in here and how the veteran guys helped you guys get acclimated to this program. I was wondering what it's like as guys who have been in this program for a few years now. What's it like when a transfer comes in, like Jacob this year, Bobby this year, or Ethan, or the pitchers last? How quickly can you tell that, like, yeah, that's a guy who's going to fit in well here. That's a guy who's going to help us.
Yeah, usually pretty quickly, honestly. Like the second I met Bobby and saw him go about his business the first day, I knew he was going to be just fine. He represents kind of what this program is very well. He's very locked in at all times, works his butt off. Really, attentive to details. So, I think there's obviously some cases where it's like, okay, like guys come in and then, they understand what the program's about and they adjust and stuff like that. But Bobby is a prime example of kind of being a UVA guy the second he stepped on. So the transition for him was not very difficult, I don't think.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't take long for us to notice Jacob's presence either. I mean, like he's a big guy, and a lot of the internet or stuff, people questioned him like, oh, D3 to D1, like how will it translate? Well, I think it's translating just fine for him, but I mean, he's just throwing his body back there on the line for us catching, and he's a big guy. I mean, he's my lifting partner, so I'm with him a lot of the time too, and like I think that stuff it's just awesome, like that he was given the opportunity to come here, and I mean, we're all grateful for it too. He's made a tremendous impact on this team, but yeah, like Griff said, like I mean, even Joe Savino on the pitching side of it too, like these are just guys that want to win, and that's essentially what it comes down to, and that's how you be successful here. So
how aware are you guys, I guess, when that the talk now is the transfer portal, how aware are you guys made of maybe potential targets or hey, a guy that you played in summer ball that is in the portal or something? Is that ever constructed either from the coaching staff, or do you tell Coach Mack, hey, I played with this guy in the summer, you might want to take a look at him?
Yeah, I mean, I remember this summer, Coach Drew texted me about Blake Barker. Like I was going to go face him. Like he was on the Wisconsin Rapid Rafters and I was on Kalamazoo, and he just told me like, hey, like we're looking at this guy. So, I mean, I went up to him and talked to him and answered his questions about UVA. And luckily I didn't face him because he was like 95 as a lefty. So I didn't really feel like doing that over the summer, but he was a really good dude. And that's another guy you could tell right away, just like tough mentality. So yeah, like there's sometimes like that, like, hey, like you're going to go play him, like see what he's like, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I feel like I just remember over the summer, like we were I know they were hitting the portal for, a position or two. And I just remember there's always a connection. Like someone's always played with someone. So I just remember getting a text about a couple of different guys that I've either played with over the summer, past couple of years, or he's from Richmond area or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there's always connections with college baseball with how many travel teams and like everyone goes to Georgia and all that. So
it's so unique to any other sport. I mean, football doesn't have the travel aspect. They don't have the showcase aspect.
Do guys in the portal reach out to you guys?
Yeah.
Like if they know you?
Same type of thing. Like I had a couple guys text me and were just like, hey, talk to me about UVA. I guess I'm not sure if they had been contacted or if they were just planning on hitting the portal and were looking for UVA. But yeah, I mean, the past couple of years I've tried to convince probably like 5 or 6 guys. But my recruiting skills probably
What's your batting average?
Yeah.
Better on the field?
Yeah. I think I'm probably like 2 for 5, 2 for 6.
It's Hall of Fame numbers, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Virginia Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Griff's more of a connection with that, being from Virginia his whole life. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone I've run into that doesn't know Griff in this state, so I'm still looking for someone.
Usually on the football side, you know him too. You know.
Yeah, apparently he was like a good quarterback or something, but the only one I heard of was like Jay Wolfolk.
Jay Wolf.
Whatever.
Griff, though, you're not alone, though. I mean, this it's kind of been a staple, right, of this program that a lot of the better players that have come through here, one connection they have is they've played multiple sports, you know, in high school. How do you think that has you've probably answered this question a million times, but like, you know, now that you've just been in baseball now for 3 years, probably the first time in your life, right? You've only focused on one sport now for these last 3 seasons. How deep does the football stuff still impact you or help you even like to this day, even though you haven't played it since your senior year of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like the biggest advocate of multisport that you can find, just because, I mean, I played pretty much everything growing up. Soccer, football, basketball, track, baseball. I just wanted to play anything that I could. And I think it does so much that goes under the radar. Like, I think there's so many things in football and basketball, like that you put your body through, like body positions or the way that you move as an athlete, that just transfer to baseball. Like some of the things that, you might do on the field, like fielding ground balls or running after fly balls, diving, just changing direction, being a good base runner, like tight turns, like all that is kind of a mixture of things that I've learned throughout other sports. And a lot of the times, it's like someone will ask me how I do like a certain, movement or whatever, like field a certain ball or whatever. And usually my answer is I just try and be athletic, which doesn't really help their question. But that is my answer. Like a lot of the times, like I just try and be athletic. And I think that just comes from playing football and basketball and just like being an athlete. I think it translates so much more than you think. And not only that, but also just like the mental side of it, like those, 6 a.m. Workouts in August for football, like no one wants to go do that. Like it's just, but you have to. And it's one of those things that you go, and once you're there, you make the most of it. And that's the mental side of it, just the mental toughness. So I think there's just so many aspects of it. And yeah, I have, the past 3 years have been baseball only, but when I'm not playing baseball, I try and go play other sports because I think it still just gets me in a good frame of mind.
Yeah, I like what he said about the mental side of just playing other sports too. I mean, it's kind of like something that you don't really like take into account for as like a high school athlete. Like there's a lot to learn and stuff like that. But like, I mean, that is something that has been preached like since day one I got here, was like the mental side of baseball and stuff like that. And like what he said was like, I mean, I regret I played basketball up until high school. I kind of regret not playing it. I mean, granted, would I've been here, who knows? But like you said, like just something about like playing high school sports with your friends, and like it will help you no matter what. Like there's absolutely no downside. So,
Griff, you've never been like enticed to like try to join a intramural football team here, have you?
No.
Like a former infielder.
You laugh about that, but there is a legendary, he now plays the Toronto Blue Jays. I figured it out.
Ask Mac about it.
Player here who you can ask Mac and Oak about the time they found out that, their second baseman / shortstop and center fielder, his first year here, might have skipped something to go play an intramural football game.
I can't even imagine.
I know if Griff played intramural football, I'm his wide receiver 1. That's all I know.
Yeah. The legend of Ernie Clement still carries on, I think, in that aspect.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how
I mean,
was
they don't even let us play. They remind us that we are not allowed to play basketball in any capacity during the season. So that I don't even know how that went over.
You might have Ernie to thank for that one.
Yeah.
So how was Fenway? What was that experience like?
That was awesome. I mean, that obviously, like, wish the result was different, but like the experience was something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And I'm sure Griff could say the same. Like, I mean, like we signed our names in the Monster. I grew up a Yankee fan. I've seen Fenway Park on TV a million times, like always pictured myself like hitting one over the Monster to like shush the Red Sox crowd because, they're like my least favorite team in all sports. But when I realized I was a lefty, I kind of thought that wouldn't really be possible. I don't know if any lefties ever gone over the Monster, but yeah, I mean, just to like play where, like those like types of players have played. I mean, like just I felt like a kid again. Like I felt like a Yankee, like going in there and like taking down the Red Sox. So I mean, it was an experience for a lifetime, and I won't forget it for sure.
I do have one. I mean, to kind of set the scene, we kind of greeted the team coming off, and Tony, you walked off the bus and said, "Go Yankees."
Yeah.
And then
I just made sure that everybody knew like what I was about there. Like I wasn't about like, oh, we're at Fenway, like this is so great. Like I was there for the Yankees, and I was there to show the team, like show Boston, like this is what happens when the Yankees come to town.
I mean, it was pretty surreal. Like everyone's taking pictures. There was no BP at Fenway, so kind of that hour before was not really taken up by IO, BP, and anything like that. So a lot of guys taking pictures, and I'm taking pictures for people, and I see Tony in left field next to the Monster, and he's taking a picture by where they have the standings on the Monster, and the Yankees are on top. So I think if you were to maybe post any picture, that might be the only one you would.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had to get the picture there just while they were in first. I was like, I mean, I might not ever play here again. I need this. I just need to make, like, it was awesome now. And a couple other Yankee fans on the team too. So, but no, it was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, same thing. I say it's probably a little different for me than Anthony, just because obviously he has a direct connection to hating that franchise. But I mean, obviously, I grew up watching games at Fenway, and the Green Monster. I've always wanted to see in person. It's enormous. I don't even know if it can be bigger than it looks on TV, but it is. It's like actually enormous. So before the game, like you said, like there was no BP or anything. So I just kind of sat out in left field and just kind of looked around for like 20 minutes. I didn't even bring my phone, so like everyone was taking pictures. I was just sitting there. But like I kind of enjoyed that just because it was one of those experiences that like a picture doesn't really do it justice anyway. So I just kind of took it all in. Obviously the game we did not play a good game there, so that definitely put a little damper on it for me. But as far as just the opportunity to play there, it was pretty insane.
All right, I know you guys got to get going. They're getting started out here, so we don't want to hold you up. But really quickly, we were talking at the beginning about, now you're baseball players now. It's a stretch run going into the postseason. What maybe did you guys learn last year on that road to Omaha that you can apply or maybe have been applying all year, but especially now that we're getting into May and June to this stretch run here now?
I mean, just right off the bat, like it takes everybody. Like, I mean, it's going to take 1 through 9 in the lineup, and it's going to take every pitcher, starter, bullpen guy to like go where we want to go. And I feel like we kind of realized that like last year, like there was always a moment where like someone stepped up. Like it's just going to be who's going to be that guy to do it for us. And I mean, when you look at it like that, it's really easy to come together as a team and say like, you know what, like we need everybody. Like you never know what situation some like so-and-so is going to be put in. Like, does he rise up to it? And so, I mean, just kind of like that team camaraderie, like this is it. Like that's definitely something I'll take. And I think we've been taking all year too.
Yeah. I mean, to get to Omaha, so many things have to go right. It's never easy. I think just kind of with this team, especially with so many new guys, and we have such big contributors with transfers and freshmen that have never been in a regional at the very least, but also just never like been in that caliber of competition, of that playoff baseball. So, I think that's something that we've kind of initiated from the fall. Like, a lot of times, maybe it's a random practice day and we're dragging a little bit. It's like, this is the practice that's going to win the first game of the regional. Like, just kind of having that mindset that like, it's a whole body of work. I really don't believe in like turning the switch on. I don't really think that's a thing. Like, I don't think you can just, make it happen when you want to. And I think that's pretty in line with kind of what we talk about as a team. Like, this is a whole body of work this whole year. And we've treated every day as if it were the game to go to Omaha. So I think we're in a good position. I don't think we need to, do anything more than we've been doing. As long as we do what we're prepared to do, I think we're in a good spot.
All right. That sounds like a good place to wrap things up, guys. Thanks for joining us so much. I know you've been looking forward to this all week, once you're done with exams, right? Yeah.
Love this podcast.
I'm glad somebody does.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Get Kirby to come on here. That's who we need to get on here next. So, That's going to wrap up another edition of 1186, the podcast. Like we said, who's at home this weekend? Starting Friday night against NC State, and then Tech is here next weekend. So, postseason's almost here. Thanks for joining us on 1186, the podcast.